All right, are we going? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. It's time for yet more Women's Champions League knockout playoff round first legs. Today we've got Atletico Madrid taking on Manchester United, a game we already saw once in the league phase, and that was a dramatic occasion, Harry. Can we expect more of the same tonight?
Hopefully so. As you say, it was dramatic, it was controversial, it had everything you wanted from a Champions
We want
League.
controversy?
Well, no, but it made it interesting with 2 red cards. But yeah, I think tonight has got the opportunity to be another really good battle between these two sides that will have ambitions of going further. United on debut, putting on some stunning performances in the league phase. Atletico Madrid tailing off a little bit at times, but they did enough to scrape through into this knockout playoff round. But United will be hoping that they can avoid any silly red cards and get through this Atletico Madrid test somewhat easier to that league phase game. But 2 very, very good sides, should be a good contest.
Atleti, of course, under different management than that last game. What can we expect from José Herrera tonight? Looks like a different formation for starters for Atletico.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what Herrera can come up with. I think it's a positive change. Victor Martin, I don't think he played the greatest football. José Herrera going to try and come in with something different and try and. I think the main thing in these ties, obviously, is different on the domestic stage, and life has started pretty okay for him there. But I think that for this game, you've got to keep United on their toes, make it difficult for them, try and catch Skinner and United out and make them think and make them work for it tonight. Don't let United have it easy. Dig in deep, defend well, be good on the counter and make Man United work for this result tonight if they want to get it. Atleti have got quality, they've got to find it. But I think from José Herrera, the main thing to expect tonight is a defensively solid system that is going to try and keep United out.
Well, let's begin with Atletico Madrid then. A 5-3-2 tonight for Atleti. In goal, it is Lola Gallardo. A back 5 of Fernandez, Lloris, Loron, Maneo and Medina. Then a midfield 3 of Barisa, Fiamma Benitez and Julia Bartel. And a front line of Jensen alongside Sariegi. What do we expect from this Atleti side? A lot of big players not involved. No Luani. Obviously, Gio picked up the injury in the game we saw between these two sides earlier in the season. So a bit of a different front line, a very different formation. What are you expecting to see from Atleti tonight?
Yeah, clearly going for a much more defensive style, dropping to the 5 back and looking to compound. But if they can get forwards, Fiamma enjoyed a very, very good league phase, obviously, as you say, with injuries to Gio, injury to Luani as well. They're big misses going into these kind of matches, but still, it's a decent Atletico Madrid side. They're going to look to be compact. They're going to look to get back in numbers, defend quite narrow. If they can get the wing backs high, then that would be that may be able to help them going forwards. But it's going to be a lot of counter threat, and they're going to try and catch United out high up the pitch, which is going to be difficult to do. But overall, we expect Atletico Madrid to be sitting pretty deep in this game.
Absolutely. Very strong looking Manchester United team, though. In goal, Fallon, Tullis, Joyce. A back 4 of Riviere, Letitia, Janssen and Sandberg returning to their full strength. A midfield pivot then of Ziggy Olmer alongside Hinata Miyazawa, with Jess Park lining up in the 10. Ellen Vanahheim on the right-hand side. Melvin Mallard on the left. And Elizabeth Turland leads the line for the Red Devils. A lot of rest then at the weekend we saw for key players. Turland came off the bench. Riviere didn't feature. Vanahheim didn't play in that game either. How does that opportunity to rotate impact on United's chances today?
Yeah, it massively helps because it means that they can go into this one bit of fresh legs and top players can will look a bit sharper, and they've got to be faster on the off. They're going to need to manage the minutes as best they can, but the fact they're coming into this one with a bit of a rest is crucial, and they'll look to kill the tie off and then be able to potentially rest up in the second leg. But yeah, it's a strong side. It's a side full of quality. They're going to look to cause Atletico Madrid a lot of problems today. And I think that it's got the ability, that United side, to really win this one pretty convincingly, and it's going to be up to whether they can take their chances or not. But yeah, as you say, some of those key players coming into this game a bit fresher than potentially they would have been if they hadn't had that rotation. So it's always a positive to be able to just change the side around in the game before such a big Champions League clash.
What do you think of some of the personnel selections? Vanahheim brought in to start. Obviously, Fridolina Rolfo out injured. Sees Melvin Mallard start again. Are those the right choices? And obviously, Mallard a forced inclusion, but are they the right choices for United?
Yeah, I think so. As you say, there's a couple of injuries in there, and that has made things difficult for them. But they're all good players in their own right, and I think that, as I say, they've got the ability to cause a lot of problems to Atletico Madrid tonight. That's why they signed them, to have that kind of squad depth that can really hurt and really cause any side problems on their day.
Yeah, indeed. Shadow, welcome to the stream. Says it'll be a tough game, 1-0 win, I reckon. Julio says, let's go. Hannah Lundqvist, top signing, astute signing. Big fan there of United's recruitment team. Nigel says, I voted with my heart instead of my head. Fair enough, Nigel. We'll see what you've gone for there then as we get into predictions in a moment. But this should be a really good game. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Atleti line up this evening. Again, we have little information on what José Herrera is like, but it looks very defensive from the off. But I think using the three back is going to give Medina and Fernandez a little bit more license to get forward. And if Jensen and Sariegi can combine quite effectively, those two could form a great partnership. But yeah, it's very much an unknown for Atleti in that regard. Phoebe says it's a big game for Vanahheim to prove herself. Sharon says, I like Vanahheim though, really good attacking movement, could cause Atleti some problems. Yeah, I think as well, the sort of arriving late for those crosses, similar to what you get from Rolf on the left-hand side, we expect that Sandberg can get high tonight, deliver those balls in. You're going to then be able to find Ellen Vanahheim at the sort of back post, if you can't find Elizabeth Turland, of course. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to see what United look like with her on that right wing. I thought they were a bit clunky when she played there before. And as soon as they put, Park back out there and move the team around a bit more, I think they looked a lot sharper. So it's difficult to say how it's going to look tonight, but this is the kind of game, I think, that Vanahheim can really get her teeth into. I think Atleti didn't deal well with the physicality of United last time. We'll see if that happens again. Let's get into predictions then. If you're watching along to the show, get involved in the live chat and let us know your scoreline predictions. But as always, we'll kick things off here in the studio and we'll start with yourself, Harry. What's your prediction as Atletico Madrid take on Manchester United?
I am going to back Manchester United to take the victory today. I think that Atletico Madrid will look to be defensively solid, but I don't think it'll be enough to stop United taking the win. I will say Atletico Madrid 0, Manchester United 1. I still think it'll be a close game, and United will probably look to be a little bit conservative in the opening encounters and then grow into the game as it carries on. I will say the only goal of the game to come from Elizabeth Turland in the first half, but United just to get the job done. In the predictions video, I did say 0-0, but looking at the way the side are set up tonight, I think United will just prove to be too strong for Atletico Madrid.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think it will be a United win as well. I think it'll be a little more comprehensive than that. I can't remember if I said 3-0 or 2-0 in the preview on Tuesday, but I'm going to go for 2-0 tonight. I think the fact it's away from home will make it a little bit more difficult, but they've gone for their full strength side. I think they'll want to put on a good show, and I think they'll be a lot better than Atletico Madrid. They were much better than them in their first meeting earlier in the competition. They only had 10 players for most of that game. So if they can keep all their players on the pitch today for the full 90, I can't see them having too many issues this evening. I don't think that Atleti squad is as good as some people make out. They're now 5th in the Liga Ref, 9 points away from those Champions League spaces. I didn't think they were much to write home about in the league phase. So, yeah, I'd be surprised if they up that level. But under new management, we'll see what they can offer this evening. I'll say Turland to score and just Park to score as well.
Like it. Yeah, I think that Atletico Madrid, I like midfield 3. I think Fiamma Benitez, Julia Bartel, and I've completely forgotten who was in there. I just saw it and now I've completely blanked. But it's a good midfield 3 combination. I think it works well, and if they can get the ball down, look to dictate the tempo, then that's where they can try and wrangle a bit of control back from Manchester United. But on the whole, I think that we expect United to be the ones on the ball and making things pretty difficult for Atletico Madrid.
And the midfield, you forgot former United player, of course, Barisa, in that midfield 3. So, yeah, I mean, that is going to be where the game is won and lost, is if Atleti can win that midfield battle today. They've gone for that midfield 3. They are missing Garcia, but they have still got enough fight. They've still got enough bite in that midfield that you would think that they can offer a good fight today. But United's midfield is so strong, is so well composed, and if they can get Jess Park into the right position today, should absolutely provide the quality in the final third.
Yeah, I think it's important that United do start fast and do look to kill this game off pretty quickly. They don't want to allow Atletico Madrid to get settled, because then things could become a bit difficult. But I think that, as you say, the quality they've got, if players like Park can get on the ball and make things happen, then it could be a long night for Atletico. But yeah, United, it's a very, very strong side. They've been really good in the Champions League so far this season. They'll be hoping that can continue this evening.
Indeed they will. And Atleti have options off the bench as well to turn to should they need them. Katharina Kuhl on that bench, as is someone called Macarena Portales. And Gio as well, returning to the substitutes bench. But it will be Manchester United to get us started here away in Madrid. It's Atletico Madrid taking on United. Jess Park from the middle knocks it back, and we're underway for this Women's Champions League knockout playoff round first leg tie. It's a fantastic amalgamation of words that make up the playoffs as we battle for a place in the quarterfinals. And it's Atletico Madrid coming forwards, knocking that out of play, and there has been a foul in there on Medina. Just brought down. She tried to carry that ball forwards.
Yeah, just slightly caught by Riviera. She played the ball. Definitely a free kick. And so the one thing that may make things difficult for Manchester United in terms of getting the ball down playing is the pitch. Doesn't look to be in the greatest of conditions for this such an occasion, but they've got to make it work. It's something Atletico Madrid can definitely try and lean into.
Vanahheim going back now into Jade Riviere. And all the way back to her goalkeeper, Tullis Joyce, is going to look to launch it towards the right-hand side. Headed away well initially. Does drop for Vanahheim, and now Medina getting on the ball, and she can carry this forward. Knocks it down the line. Jensen back inside. Medina. And that's poor in there. It was played back to Barisa, who tried to clip it back out to the left-hand side and misplaced it.
Yeah, very important tonight that Atletico Madrid aren't wasteful when they do get chances to come forwards and do get an opportunity to put their foot on the ball. Because I doubt that they're going to get too many of those.
I believe this is also José Herrera's first Champions League match. Difficult to be thrown into such an occasion. As a manager, was previously managing at Al Hilal. How that prepares you for a Champions League knockout playoff round game, I'm not sure. But has got a decent amount of experience as well in the Liga Ref. Riviere going down the right-hand side. Drops in midfield, though, for Fiamma to steer clear. Good hold up in there from Sariagi. And now they'll look to play to the right-hand side. Crossfield pass looking for Fernandez. Picked off well by Melvin Mallard. Slips it into Elizabeth Turland, who creates space for the shot. And a great start for Manchester United here. A good move and a brilliant finish from Elizabeth Turland. What else would you expect? Turland given time on the edge of the box. None of the Atleti back three got close enough to her. And Gallardo with no chance there to deny Elizabeth Turland. Atletico 0, Manchester United 1.
Dream start for United in this game into the knockouts, and with a bang, Elizabeth Turland. It's a really good strike. Poor crossfield pass picked off by Melvin Mallard, who does right. She delays, she waits for the runner Turland, who times it well, and Elizabeth Turland, really good initial touch, and then the strike is hit with some venom. Really good play from Mallard. Turland does well to get the touch out of her feet. The strike back across towards the near post is brilliant. And United, that is the perfect start. Spoke about starting fast and not allowing Atletico Madrid to settle into their shape. And that's exactly what United were looking for.
It's a really poor pass out. I believe it was Manayo who tried to play that ball and got it all wrong. And yeah, weak defending as well from Laurent and Manayo. And Manchester United capitalised well. A handball in there as Atleti trying to get something to click in the final third. Jensen, the culprit. And United playing to the left-hand side. Mallard knocks it in behind. Turner makes a run off the shoulder. Getting across quickly is Laurie. And it's good there from Fernandez to win it back. Park, though, has possession now. Lovely footwork in there from Jess Park. Holding onto the ball under pressure. Janssen. Much more successful crossfield pass than the one Atleti tried a few moments ago. Riviere. Vanahheim into Ziggiotti, who holds it up nicely back down the line. But overhit, and Vanahheim not even bothering to chase after that one.
Yeah, combative from Ziggiotti, but overhit. But United starting this game exactly how they needed to. With pace, with intensity.
Yeah, absolutely. Fast start from Manchester United, capitalising early on Atletico mistakes. And that's what they'll be hoping to do throughout this game. Atleti A little bit wasteful on the ball. Bartel out towards the left-hand side. Nice movement from Sariegi. Comes inside there. And a foul given. It was Medina, sorry. Who's looked dangerous early on, holding the width on that left-hand side and just drawing the foul. Shadow says, wait, I predict 1-0. I meant 5-0. Yeah, after that start. And Julio says, by the way, fantastic channel. My daughter and I watch you guys as we're both United fans, and there's not many women's football channels. Thank you so much for tuning in. Glad we can provide a service that isn't out there at the moment. Thank you so much for your support. Atleti on the right-hand side. Fernandez wants to take on Sandberg. Plays it down the line, and brilliant work from Ziggiotti to get back in.
Yeah, good reaction from Atletico Madrid to going a goal behind, still trying to be positive. And again, that progression, that threat, trying to come through the wide areas with the wing-backs, which is exactly what they've got to do. It's very easy in these kind of games for your wing-backs to get, sucked in deep, and it looks like more like a 5, but they want to try and, especially in attacking areas, keep it as a 3 and put United under pressure.
Letitia heads clear, and here's Hinata Miyazawa, who can carry the ball forwards. Short of forward options, though, turns back and finds her midfield partner, Ziggiotti Olma. Now across to Dominic Janssen. Sandberg. Mallard. Fernandez closes the angle. What can Mallard make happen here? Sandberg back into Janssen. Letitia out towards the right-hand side as United move across the back line. Ziggiotti. Miyazawa, and they move back towards the left-hand side. Mallard. Sandberg as the wider option, slips it in behind. She's got the beating of Fernandez here. Sandberg gets around the ball, crosses it in, and Laurent able to head away well. And then sent forwards, only intercepted though by Miyazawa, and United keep the ball high at the pitch here. Miyazawa again. Letitia into Riviere. Letitia back across to Dominique Janssen. Who carries the ball forwards. Sandberg. Here's Jess Park. Out towards the right-hand side from Park, and that's slightly misplaced, but Riviere will get there. Bounces inside to Miyazawa, back to Ziggiotti. Lovely movement there from United to play out of the press. Sandberg. Mallard in support, goes inside to Jess Park. He's got loads of space to work with. Hooking it towards the back post. Vanahheim heads on goal, and it's 2-0, and there's an offside flag up against Ellen Vanahheim. VAR is in operation. They will double check this, but that was an early flag there. And United's goal may be chalked off, but they will have a look.
Yeah, I think Vanahheim.
Nowhere near offside.
No.
Is it Turland who's offside? It's headed back across to Turland. Has she gone too early there? Referee waiting as VAR make a decision. So Vanahheim's definitely onside. Thought that was the one that may have seen it flagged off.
So that's fine. They need to stop showing it's this one here.
I don't think she's offside there. I think the player on the floor rules her on.
It'll also be a question of a foul from Vanahheim. Lots to unpick here for VAR. It's going to be tight, though.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely looks a close one. I mean, this would be almost tie over after 8 minutes if this is allowed. United have started so quickly. Atleti all over the place at the moment.
Yeah. Just defensively, they look at C. Gone for the 5-back, tried to be more secure, and it hasn't helped at all. They're still very open and under a lot of pressure, and they will be hoping that this goal stays disallowed.
I mean, Manayo again there just gets brushed off. Has had a really difficult start to this match as the left centre half. The only player in that back line who didn't start the same fixture earlier this season. And we're still checking this goal. It's one of those where, because we're not, I believe from the quarterfinals, we get automatic offsides. Because of the stadiums used in these knockout playoff round games, we don't get automatic offsides. It's the old style of drawing the lines on, which does take its time to determine whether United have a second goal in this game. I think that has now been disallowed. Referee does flag for offside. United have the ball in the back of the net for a second time, but it will be disallowed, and United have to work to get that second goal again. Atleti playing out from the back. Vanahheim headed on well by Sariagi. Nice move on the left-hand side here. Picked off well, though, by Letitia. Good challenge in there. And now United back in possession. Letitia. Riviere. Great hold up from Elizabeth Turland. Now Vanahheim. Back to Letitia. Taylor's choice. Now to the left-hand side, and Janssen clipping that forwards well, and Mallard gets there. Clumsy defending from Laurie, but it does the job. That's out for a United throw.
Lovely touch from Mallard. Shame she couldn't make much more of it, but United still with the ball, and a really good start. You can tell there's a big quality gap between these two sides at the moment.
That's a fantastic ball from Ziggiotti. Pokes through Mallard, who looks to try and get the shot away. Twisting and turning. Still going, Melvin Mallard. The shot, a tame one, though. And Gallardo claiming that without issue. The thing is, when you think about a five-back, you tend to envision a side that's very defensively stable, very disciplined. Atleti anything but.
Yeah.
Medina and Fernandez are so high, and Turland turns it over quickly and then slips on a poor bit of the surface there. You can see the patch of dirt on the pitch.
But you just think that Herrera's gone too aggressive, perhaps.
Yeah.
Whether he's overestimated his side's abilities or underestimated the quality of Manchester United, you think he's just gone way too positive, way too aggressive against a side that are much clearer in quality.
Wing-back formations are difficult to strike the balance with sometimes. I think at the moment the wing-backs are just too high for Atleti. And you're leaving, rather than a 4-on-4 or 4-on-5, because United do get those full-backs up quickly, you're just leaving your defence exposed. And United always have an extra player or two. The wide centre-halves are getting dragged out. The wing-backs are getting pinned too high up the pitch. There's just so much space at the moment, and it's giving United an overload every time they come forwards.
Yeah.
Fernandez bounces it inside to Boarisa. Back through the legs of Sandberg into Fernandez, who plays it down the line now. What can Sariagi do? Holds onto the ball well and manages to get around Dominique Janssen. Janssen keeps up with her now, though, and blocks that out for a corner.
And that's the thing, when it does work, when being positive does work, they can get into positions like that and cause problems to Manchester United. The problem is if that comes at the expense of giving away as many chances as they already have, it's not going to be an effective game plan.
True, that's the first time we've seen them come forwards as well. Referee into the box here to discuss a dispute in the penalty area. I think Task Joyce not happy with how Fernandez is trying to deal with her there. So a corner now for Atletico.
Yeah, they've got to use opportunities like this. Set pieces are absolutely crucial in these knockout ties, especially when you are the underdog.
Ball in towards the penalty area, and the referee blows the whistle. Not happy with how Atleti are pushing in the box. Is it a retake or is it United free kick? I think it's a retake.
They're going to go again. She hasn't actually spoke to anybody, so whether she wasn't ready, and then the taker confirming that you got to wait for the whistle. Referee wasn't ready. That's a bit unlucky.
Brilliant. Everyone else was. Ball in. It's the right area. Headed away, though, by Letitia. Park hooks it clear. Burisa wants to get it back in there. Riviere forces her backwards, and Miyazawa picks up on the ball and knocking it down the line and out of play. And Atleti taking that throw in quickly, looking to have the ball while United are deep in their own half. But United quick to get up. Laurent. And now Manayo. Wide into Medina, and Riviere pounces. And Manayo knocking it down the line. Nice give and go. Ball played in behind. Goes under the foot of Janssen. And a chance now. Sariegi gets there. But Sandberg gets across. Brilliant defending. Just not good enough there from the forward. Took a heavy touch. And that gave Sandberg a chance to get back in there.
Yeah, again, better from Atletico Madrid. Janssen makes a complete mess of it. But Sandberg, really good recovery and makes a clean challenge. Another chance though. Let's go Madrid. See go begging.
Corner again then. Will the ref be ready for this one? Quarter of an hour gone. United leading by a goal to nil. Could have been 2 goals to nil. Corner taken short. Ball fizzed in there, but it's blocked by an Atleti player. And the recycled cross is hoofed onto the edge of the box. And it's United who'll come away with possession now. Jess Park carrying it forwards. No support really though, and goes back to Sandberg. Looked like they had swapped Vanahheim and Mallard, but I think they are just swapping them back now. Zigiotti into Letitia. Now Janssen. Sandberg. Inside to Yulia Zigiotti-Olma, who can she pick out with the pass. Plays into the feet of Turland. Great hold up there from Turland. Miyazawa. Now wide for Riviere. She beat Medina. Back to Zigiotti-Olma. It looked like she was opening up the space for the cross there, but didn't quite become an option. Letitia switched the play into Sandberg, who can deliver a ball into the box, put it on top of Gallardo, who can claim that without issue.
Yeah, not quite the ball that Sandberg was looking for. But another positive move from United, moving the ball nicely at Atletico Madrid. Can't really get near them.
Larry back to Laurent. Schauder says this pitch is terrible. We have to be careful. Yeah, I mean, that Janssen moment there probably doesn't happen on an even surface.
No.
But it's something you've just got to adjust to. Both sides are playing on the same pitch, albeit now Atleti will be much more familiar with this turf. Foul there as Sariegi brought down by Dominic Janssen.
Yeah, again, good hold up from the Atletico Madrid striker, who's enjoying a lively start, which is important. Again, decent play, and they just get caught out a bit, and it's one of those where I think that's in a dire cell, that's probably deemed just a bit of physicality. That is a nudge in the back, to be fair, but yeah, it's a soft one.
Free kick for Atletico then. Boarisa, the one to take. Can she create something here against her former side? Puts it in towards the back post, headed across by Laurent. Sandberg gets it clear, and the referee does blow for a foul on Melvin Mallard.
Yeah, it was just caught there, Mallard, as the ball came in. Probably the right decision. Here we go, just watch it. Who actually makes the contact? She just gets blocked off.
Just blocked by Larry. I think the referee wanted to let that play out in case Atletico scored, and then VAR could obviously check it. But
yeah,
as soon as the attack petered out, was happy to give the free kick. United building to the right-hand side. Riviere carries it forwards, brought down in there. Free kick for United. And it's Jensen committing the foul.
Has been quite a combative game. I think that again probably helps Atletico Madrid more than it will United. Just takes the pace out of the game, makes it more difficult for United to get anything going.
Park bundled down there. Sandberg trying to win it back. Miyazawa hooking it away. And now Sandberg tries to play it through the lines, intercepted by Fernandez. Larry back to Gallardo, who lifts it into the midfield. Benitez. Bartel through the lines. Fernandez. Benitez plays it forwards. Sariegi does get that one slightly wrong. Boarisa back into Bartel. Fiamma Benitez. Laurent. Clipped forwards by Larry. Great hold up there from Jensen. Lifting it forwards. Letitia on hand to win it back. And now Miyazawa goes home to Riviere. Picked up in midfield by Park as that long ball forward run by Larry. Larry gets the second ball as well. Fernandez. Atleti combine tidily on the right-hand side. Here's Fernandez again. And that's cross-blocked by Dominic Janssen, who's able just to pass it through into Sandberg. Diggiotti brought down, tries to stop Bartel, give and go. Here's Benitez, takes aim. And that one sailing high and wide.
Yeah, not quite the strike to match what was actually a really good move by Atletico Madrid. We have seen, I think they're getting the ball down and trying to play some good football, which is really encouraging to see. I think that clearly José Herrera wants his side to get a foot on the ball and to make things happen. And although they are trailing here and have struggled to start with, I think they are growing into this game, and that there was a good example of how they can get the ball down and play football. Can open up United and find space.
Indeed. Vanahheim back to Gallardo. Vanahheim again under pressure. Plays it down the line, and Medina flicking it into Jade Riviere and wins a throw-in. Bartel holds onto the ball well, back to Laurent. Now Gallardo. Larry knocking it down the line, launching it down the line really. Sariegi up against Janssen's been a good battle thus far. A give and go with Benitez and Letizia on hand to sweep that one up. Taylor's choice plays out, will be pounced on by Fiamma Benitez. Into Jensen, picked off well by Miyazawa. Now Mallard. Atleti just wrestled back a bit of control in this game. They were all over the place early on, especially defensively, but not look too bad coming forwards.
Yeah, they're getting a foot on the ball, and those combinations are really starting to come together. I spoke about the midfield three, and we are starting to see Burisa, Bartel, Fiamma. They're getting on the ball. They're trying to make things happen. The front two as well, being aggressive, getting themselves about, and as you say, they're just growing back into this game and giving United a good contest at the moment. They'll be even more frustrated now that they concede as early as they did, because since then they've not played too badly.
Janssen. Letizia. Now it's Jess Park. Letizia. Into Dominique Janssen. Sandberg. Park in the pocket. Exchanging with Janssen, looking for a forward option. Janssen again. Letizia. Now to Jade Riviere. Diggiotti. Vanahheim. Diggiotti. Riviere. And Letizia goes back to Taylor's Joyce. Janssen. Lifting it forwards. Mallard brings it down well. I'm back in there by Fernandez. Benitez. Park jostling for possession. Brilliant work from Benitez. Cut across from Sariegi, and it's brilliant there from Diggiotti to get back in and recover possession. Mallard. Janssen. Lifting it to Riviere. That's a fantastic control from Jade Riviere, who carries this ball forward now. Can't quite find Vanahheim though with a forward pass. Good carry. Cleared away by Medina. Dissier. Riviere. Now Hinata Miyazawa. Cleared away. Miyazawa. Here's Park. Carries it forward, slipping it through, looking for Melvin Mallard, and that runs out. Right, Atletico Madrid goal kick.
Yeah, just not enough space there to try something that clever. I think Park probably could go alone here.
Yeah, I think he could have taken the shot. Good goal from Gallardo. Narrows the angle. And lets Mallard run it out of play. And now Atleti have Fiamma Benitez down. This would be a concern if she can't continue.
Yeah, already feeling the effect of a few injuries amongst the camp, and this is hardly a player they want to see down injured. Benitez is probably one of their best players of the Champions League so far. He's enjoyed a very strong European campaign and has started brightly in this game, despite the fact Atletico are a goal to 0 down.
Yeah, I mean, that VAR decision, or the actually on-field decision, to rule out the second goal from Elizabeth Turland. Fun haircutting celebration there on the on that first goal.
Turland putting out all the
But
celebration.
yeah, the second one with obviously it being disallowed, just seems to have shifted the momentum in this game. Atleti have got some belief from it. United aren't moving the ball as freely as they were before. I think it's just kicked Atleti into gear a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we said at the start that José Herrera may have tried to be too positive, but now we're starting to really see the effects of what he is trying to do, because Atleti are getting the ball down. They are playing football. They're creating space. The wing backs are getting high, but they're making things happen. And it just feels that if they can continue on in this fashion, then maybe they can look to cause United problems and get back into this game.
Yeah, concerning thing for Fian Benitez there is it's a non-contact injury. It looks to be muscular, just overstretching for the ball. You do tend to get those injuries as a result of fatigue once we get to this part of the season, but this will be something she's going to try and play through, at least for the moment. And Herrera using this as well to bark some orders.
Yeah, I think he'll be content with how his side has started. Obviously, conceding early is never ideal, but since then, I mean, the goal was in the fourth minute. So yeah, since then they've reacted really well and kind of earned themselves a good place in this game.
Yeah. And she says, what kind of hair celebrating is that? It's a nod at the fact that Manchester United men's lost their 5th consecutive game, obviously with the haircut guy, United Strand. Manchester United women, though, have won their last 5 consecutive matches. If they win tonight, it will be 6. If only Frank Illett was a fan of the women's team.
Yeah.
He would have had at least one haircut by now. I think many more haircuts. But at least one haircut by now. Here is Riviere. Played in behind. Manayo heads it down. Falls in possession of Ellen Vanahheim. And now back to Jade Riviere. Letitia. Brilliant switch of the play. Showing off her passing range. Mallard. Back to Sandberg. And now Janssen. Switch across to Letitia. Janssen again. Sandberg. Miyazawa. Back to Anna Sandberg. And now Janssen. Letitia. Into Riviere. To Maya Letitia, who aims to switch the play, finding Anna Sandberg, who can carry it forwards now. Mallard. Let's create space for the cross, looking it towards the back post. Overhit, though, by Melvin Mallard.
Yeah, they're not having it all their own way, United. Again, it's a decent move, but Mallard can't quite pick out Vanahheim at the far post. Not a bad, but it was a good run from Vanahheim. Just overhit from Melvin Mallard, and again, it's going to give Atletico Madrid a chance to build out and play their way through United. Although this time they have just gone a bit more direct, and that has worked at times in this game, and it's worked once again. And so they managed to just shift the ball up the pitch, and now they're the ones coming at Manchester United.
Jensen. Looking for the overlap of Medina. As Riviere tries to hold her up. Medina now. Back to Bartel. Larry. Wide. Into Fernandez. Blocked by Sandberg. Headed away by Dominic Janssen. And I think that's been pulled back for some sort of infraction. Not 100% sure it's been given there.
Yeah, Atletico Madrid have got a free kick.
Yeah, my question was why.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to work out what happened.
Again, we don't get many replays.
No. But yeah, that was a weird one. But they're going to get an opportunity to swing this ball into the box and try and put some pressure on Tallis Joyce.
And it's Jade Riviere over who they focus on there. But I'm not sure she committed the foul.
No.
Barisa delivers it in there towards the back post, and that's an overhit delivery. And the referee has called, I think it's a retake again. Referee not ready. I mean, United's unlucky here because Atletico will get another chance to put this ball in for no real reason. Ball in from Barisa, that's a better delivery. Header across goal, and this one wide of the mark. But the referee, that's twice now. She's not been ready for a set piece that's been taken. I mean, Atleti need to be waiting for the whistle, but it's a bit pointless.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because it's not. Yeah, because she is there. She's ready. Like, she's not busy doing something else. She's just that the whistle hasn't gone. And I'm not really sure why Atletico Madrid just keep. I don't know where they think they can just take a direct free kick whenever they want.
It's an odd one because either they think the whistle's gone and they're just taking it, or I mean, I don't know. Fernandez inside to Bartel. Now Fernandez. Lovely stuff there from Barisa. Knocking out to the left-hand side, and it's picked off, though, by Jade Riviere. Flicked on by Turland. And one back in there by Larry. Gallardo. Larry to Fernandez. Back to Larry. Picked off well by Julia Ziggiotti. And one back in midfield well by Atletico. Bartel. Barisa. Larry. Bartel shifts it back to Larry. And that's launched away. Janssen should get there without too many issues.
Yeah. Again, yeah, we're now only 15 minutes away from half time. Atletico Madrid still working their way into the game, making things difficult for Manchester United.
Bartel back to Fernandez. Larry. Now Laurent. Turland putting pressure now on Atletico, trying to play out from the back. Gallardo fires it into her own fullback there. That will allow United to put the pressure on as it bounces out for a throw.
Yeah, weird sequence there. Atletico Madrid, it just felt like they were inevitably going to lose that ball.
Yeah.
And no one seemed to do anything about it.
Riviere looking for options up the line. Turland can't quite hold on to it. Bartel played forwards by Medina, held up well by Sarriegi. Benitez back to Medina. Laurent playing it into the middle of the park. Sarriegi will get there. Touches down to Benitez. Bartel. Barisa. Larry. Fernandez down the line. Looking for Sarriegi.
I say the hold up from both Sarriegi and Jensen has been good tonight. And it's just allowing Atletico Madrid to get into this game because they can get up the pitch and they can make things happen. Both of them have done very well with Letitia and Janssen on their backs.
Good one there from Laurent. Ball played through the lines, and that's picked up well by Tallis Joyce, who rushed out to claim it. And United will launch to the left-hand side. Sandberg. Miyazawa. Into Julia Ziggiotti Oma. Letitia. Now Riviere. Inside Ziggiotti. Back to Jade Riviere. Now Vanahheim. Wants to take on Medina here. Doesn't quite have the agility there to beat her. And Medina stands her up and wins the ball back. Bartel. Medina. Letitia. Now Hinata Miyazawa. Sandberg. Janssen. Tamaya Letitia and wide. Into Riviere. It's going to go down the line. Cut out by Manayo. And now Medina. Orisa. Benitez. Through the lines. Looking for Jensen, who splits the centre half. But Janssen winning it back. I'm glad Jensen's running at Janssen. That could get very confusing.
Yeah. But it's been a really solid 35 minutes from Atletico Madrid. Of course, the start wasn't brilliant, but they reacted very well, and they're making life difficult for United. And the pace has really dropped off from Manchester United. They start the game fast with intensity, but the pace have massively slowed down. And again, it's gone back a bit like it was against Leicester.
It's just almost the same. First 10 minutes, really strong in both games, leading 1-0, and they just kind of shut it off from there.
Yeah.
Rather than kicking on, Mallard heading on. Laurent gets it clear. Andrew Smith predicting 2-1 Atletico. That feels a bit of a stretch when Atleti haven't had a shot on target yet, but they are definitely growing into this game.
They're in the game, which is, as you say, I think it would take something special for them to turn it around and win tonight, but it's more about them staying in the tie. You know, if they can play like this for the next 54 minutes, then and then they go to Manchester next week, only a goal down, they've got something to work with. So this reaction is important, because there was a moment where they looked like they were going to be 2-0 down after 8 minutes, and at that point it could have been a game set match.
Yeah, absolutely. Letitia back across to Janssen. Now Sandberg. I think it's one of those where they kind of need a result tonight, Atletico.
Yeah.
Away from home will be really difficult to get anything. Mallard inside to Park. Twisting and turning. Jess Park forced backwards there. Trying to make something happen. Still tidy footwork to evade the challenge of Fiamma Benitez. And now Janssen. Letitia. Back to Janssen. Wide into Sandberg and carry it forwards now, Anna Sandberg. Fernandez will get there, makes the challenge, but it falls back to Jess Park. Miyazawa. Into Letitia. And now Tullis Joyce. Riviere. Shifts inside to Park, who touches back to Letitia. Tullis Joyce out to the left-hand side. Janssen looks down the line. And now Tullis Joyce again. Springing the ball forwards, headed well by Laurent. And here's Jess Park. Carrying to the right-hand side. Has options wider. And that pass into the channel. Not the right decision from Park. I don't think it's working at the moment, that Park and Vanahheim connection at all. I think Vanahheim's struggling anyway. Hasn't beaten Medina or Manayo with any ease. And she just isn't the right profile out there. She's a striker.
Yeah.
We might try and make it work as a right winger, but she's not a right winger. She's tall, physical, good at hold up, good at running in behind, but she's not going to beat a player.
No.
She's just not a winger. Beers Duck says, great if I can put this on for commentary. The crowd ambience level on Norwegian Disney was driving me mad. Some kid on a megaphone or other was louder than the commentators. Well, thank you for joining us, and glad we can be of help. Here's Zawa carrying it forwards, slipping it through. Here's Mallard. Wants to shimmy inside. Good defending there from Laree. Mallard takes aim and coolly dispatches of the opportunity. And Atletico frustrated there because Laree went down, but there was no foul committed. And that's tidy from Melvin Mallard. Lovely finish into the corner. And it's Atletico 0, Manchester United 2.
Yeah, a bit of fortune for Manchester United, who have really struggled to get going since the opening goal. Mallard takes full advantage, but it's never nice when an injured player leads to a goal being scored. Laree gets back in, puts a challenge and injures herself in the process, and it just allows Mallard the space. Of course, it's still a great finish from Melby Mallard, but it helps when the player that she's defending goes down with injury. It doesn't look nice.
It's an unfortunate one. She just overextends to try and get across and gets injured. I mean, it's one of those, you've got to be ruthless in football.
Of course.
And there are still 10 other players that could make something happen. I mean, there's 2 defenders behind her who just don't get out to Mallard quick enough and react to that situation. And it's an unfortunate one. Atletico, rightfully feel frustrated there because that has happened because their players got injured. But it's not United's fault Laree picks up that injury.
Yeah, it's part and parcel of the game. If it happens, same things happens up the other end. I'd fully expect Atletico Madrid to take the shot on and try and score the goal. It's just unfortunate for Atletico, and they will be frustrated. They're probably more frustrated because they've played well. They reacted really well. They've got themselves into the game, and it's a bit of misfortune here has led to them conceding a second.
Indeed, United fans celebrating in the live chat. Good to see all the people getting involved. I think this will likely be the end of the game for Laree as she hobbles here off of the field.
Yeah, she's walking off, which is good, but you know it's not good when a player stays down in a defensive situation.
Yeah. Great finish from Melby Mallard, though. Laree tries to make the challenge across. I think it's her left knee. Thought it was the contact with Mallard, but I think it's the planting of the knee afterwards, or the right knee, sorry. But Mallard opens up the body well, finding the bottom corner perfectly. And United double their advantage. And we will get the game back underway. Atletico down to 10 for the moment. You'd imagine they will look to bring that substitution on as quickly as possible, but they need to get someone warmed up first. Tissier cuts it out. Sariegi. And United turning it over, and they could capitalise here as Atleti frantically look around for a substitute. They are coming forwards now. Bartel does well to hold on to the ball. Gets it across to Benitez. Wide now to Fernandez. Can they make something happen here with 10 players through the lines over the top? And it's held well by Tullis Joyce. United need to not let this ball out of play.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to try and capitalise. Already got the second goal, but with a player advantage momentarily. If they can get a third, they'd completely take control of this knockout side.
Letitia, now Janssen. Yeah, the longer they can hold on to the ball, the more they can probe. They don't need to take risky passes like that. It has worked out. Here's Riviere. Vanahheim. Just tire the 10 of Atletico out because they're going to have to work doubly as hard with a player less on the field. Ziggiotti. Across to Dominique Janssen, the player now ready to come on for Atletico. And United still coming forward. Sandberg down the line to Mallard. Tries to feed it through the lines to Sandberg, and that's a poor pass. And they don't make the player advantage count, United.
Yeah, I think they can count themselves quite lucky to be 2-0 up. I mean, obviously the first goal was a good start, but they haven't been at the races, United, in this game. They really haven't.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily agree they don't deserve to be 2 up because they had that early opportunity as well. It was disallowed for offside. And while Atletico have done better coming forwards, it's not like Atletico have stepped up massively.
They haven't, I know, but like you just watch his first half performance, and I wouldn't say that it's just been a bit.
It's been like the Leicester game where it's hard to criticise United because it's flat, but they're not giving up any big opportunities. They don't look like really they're going to concede. So yeah, they're not the most entertaining to watch, but I mean they beat Leicester by a goal, so they're 2-0 up in this game. You know, the way they're playing, they can probably get a third if they want it.
They're doing the job.
I understand, I understand where you're coming from because it's not, they're not playing incredibly good football, but do they need to? Do they need to overexert themselves and win this game 5-0, or can they just get through this match? It seems to be the way they're playing at the moment, and it's not wonderful to watch. But if it
Say,
gets results,
it feels like a night of teams not playing particularly good football, but getting a result that sets them up nicely in the second leg.
but I think that's a harsh on United. Wolfsburg, absolutely. Wolfsburg were terrible most of that game.
Yeah.
And somehow drew 2-2.
I think it's more Atletico. I think United deserve to be winning. I think it's more Atletico Madrid have played well enough to not be 2-0 down. Not necessarily 2 down, but because realistically at 2-0 down, they're out this game, and they're probably at the tie, bar a major miracle happening now.
If they can get 2 goals in the second half, it turns the game around.
It does.
Yeah, it's a difficult. If this is the final result, it'll be very difficult to see them turning this around away from home.
Yeah.
Ball pumped forward. Sandberg picks it off. 3 minutes of additional time in this game. Ziggiotti now plays it into Melvin Mallard. Can carry the ball forwards. Nice footwork from Mallard. Lays it off to Sandberg. I think may have just crept into an offside position there, but play will continue as we will delay the flag. Miyazawa clipping it through the lines, headed by Laurent. No flag, so it was onside initially, but yeah, unable to make anything happen there, United. Jensen, Medina. Back to Bartel. Medina clipped in there, but Atleti still with the ball. Laurent. And launched forwards by Gallardo. Chested down by Miyazawa. One back in there. And it's Barisa who can play it to the left-hand side. Medina looking to hit it in behind. And Letizia will get there. If they're going to play this very direct style, I don't know if they've got the best combination of 2 forwards.
No.
You've got 2 forwards who, as you've mentioned, have been really good at hold-up. But they keep trying to play in behind, and none of them are quicker than Janssen and Letizia.
Yeah. You prefer to have one that you can go and defeat and one that you can... And that's where I think if Lawani was available tonight, it'd be brilliant because you'd have one of the 2 strikers right now as the hold-up player, and then Lawani would just be on the shoulder. And with her pace, she would be causing problems for Letizia and Janssen. You
wonder if they'll just punt on Joe's fitness in the second half.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I think that would be their best opportunity to get something from this game. We saw the problem she caused Janssen in the first meeting. I don't think it was a red card.
No.
But she put that into a position where that was not a possibility for the ref to give it. Fernandez carries it forwards, and well, she was 1 player versus 2 there, but she wins a throw out of it. I just don't know where Atleti are getting advantages with this system because if their wing backs are too deep, they get bogged down, but they are able to deal with United defensively. And if they push up, there's so much space defensively, but they do have some width. But even then, they seem isolated in wide areas, isolated in the middle. They're struggling to build out from the back. I don't see where the advantages are.
Yeah.
Clip ball wide. Ziggiotti wins the header, drops for Janssen. And now it's with Barisa, who's under pressure here from Park. And I know United, one of the best teams in the world out of possession. Really good pressing team, really strong defensive structure. But, yeah, this hasn't been phenomenal from Atletico. But they've definitely been better than they started the game.
Yeah.
Problem for Sandberg, I think an accidental handball and just seemed to fall quite horribly on that knee. Does seem to be okay, though.
I wonder if that was her trying to avoid the fact she just swatted the ball out of the air with her right arm.
Possibly so, but will not be so thoughtful.
Moving a bit gingerly. Yeah, maybe a chance late in the half then for Atletico Madrid to half the deficit. It's not a bad ball. Headed on and headed out.
Yeah, Tyler's choice will collect. And that will likely be the last action of the first half. And is indeed the whistle goes. And at the break here in Madrid, it's Atletico Madrid 0, Manchester United 2. Goals from Elizabeth Turland 3 minutes into the match as they capitalise on Atletico mistake. And then this strike from Melvin Mallard, who capitalised on an injury to dispatch of this effort into the bottom corner. Tidy finish. And that extended United's advantage. So it's Atletico Madrid 0, Manchester United 2.
Yeah, positive half for Manchester United. Exactly what Mark Skinner and the United fans would have been hoping for. Could have been a bit difficult, and Atletico Madrid in patches of that half did prove to be quite the challenge, but United in control at the break. And yeah, to that, the goal separated by 36 minutes, and I think within that 36 minutes, it was a very different game. where Atletico Madrid took the challenge to United and made it difficult for the English side. But those 2 goals really making a difference, and not only put United in control of the match, but in control of the tie overall. And yeah, as I say, it's exactly what Mark Skinner would have hoped for. He'll be hoping that his side can kill it off in the first leg, then look to rotate in the second leg, and manage those minutes, manage those games as the important fixtures keep rolling in. But a really good 45 minutes from Manchester United. They weren't at the races at times, but they got the 2 goals they need, and they are well on their way to reaching the quarterfinals.
Yeah, exactly what the doctor ordered, really. I think this could have been a game that got a little bit messy. We know Atleti are a side who are capable of causing problems for teams, capable of making the game a little bit scrappy. I think this was always going to be a game, though, where they've just changed their manager, and while that is a positive change overall, it was always going to make this one a little bit difficult. And there's been little issues with how they're trying to build up. There's been little issues with how they're trying to create opportunities in the final third, and it's just not quite clicked for Atletico in this game. United are very well drilled on what they want to do. And yeah, I think they've looked really good. United at times. Yes, they've mellowed out in the middle of the half, but goals right at the start and right at the end was all they needed, really. Could have had another in there as well, just offside on Elizabeth Turland. So I wouldn't have any concerns about how United have played so far. Shadow says, pretty decent half for us considering they're playing in a swamp. Certainly doesn't help. When you want to get down and play football, we are just seeing United be slowed down at times or slipping over because of the pitch conditions. Not that that's an excuse, both sides are playing on the same pitch, but it doesn't help when you're trying to play a certain style of football. It definitely is more suited to Atletico, just go long. But they don't have the players and the right profiles to really make that kind of setup work at the moment. The big one, though, the big talking point, Ellen Vanahheim. Really difficult first half. Few people in chat. Lorik saying, Ellen Vanahheim is scaring me. She seems to be out of her depth. Shamanil says she's not a right winger. What are your thoughts on Vanahheim so far, but particularly when it comes to this first 45 minutes?
Yeah, I definitely agree with the fact she's not a right winger. You just look at her and it just feels so out of place. You've got a tall, physical, quick player out there, and you think that's everything you want from a number 9, and she's out on the right wing, and it's not really worked. I think that, of course, she's a very, very good player and a very, very good talent, but obviously there's still a lot of work to grow. Throwing her into this game was always going to be a big ask. I think Mark Skinner would have looked at it as an opportunity to potentially take on some more difficult a challenge, but an opposition in Atletico Madrid which he felt would be a pretty comfortable victory. And I think that physical element and the pace of the game, Vanahheim just hasn't really got up to speed. Again, we haven't really seen her take on the wing back or the left centre half, and she's found it difficult to get involved in this game. And I think that, of course, she's still a lot of potential there and still very raw. But it's not working out on that right hand side. It really isn't. And as I say, it just seems. I don't think it's a confidence issue necessarily, but I don't think she's really got into the game. And with the aggressive nature at Atletico Madrid, she hasn't really risen to match that. And it's just she always seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time at the moment.
I think I think she's a fantastic footballer. I think it's a really good bit of business from United. I just don't know if it's the player they needed for this particular squad. I don't think they needed her and Schüller. If you're going to bring her in and she's going to be the sort of young backup to Elizabeth Turland, couldn't think of her name for a moment there, then I think that's fine. The problem you've got now, though, is you've got 2 elite strikers ahead of her, or an elite striker in Schüller, an incredibly good striker in Turland. I think she's not far from that elite level, though. And then you've got Melvin Mallard, who can also play there, and then you've got Ellen Vanahheim, and they're trying to shoehorn her into this right hand side. And I did do a video theorising how this could work. It's not really happening at the moment, though. United this season pushed that right winger inside to a sort of right 10 role. It's perfect for someone like a Jess Park, and then it allows Riviere to overlap. But actually what you get is Vanahheim too wide, or coming inside and not being effective. So you get less out of Jade Riviere, and you're not really getting anything out of Ellen Vanahheim.
Yeah.
And that, for me, is just a big issue at the moment. Not suited to that role. But what can United do with her? Sort of not playing her. They're kind of boxed in now with what they did with their recruitment. It's difficult. I don't really see how they get around it. But we'll see what they look to do. Maybe next season they'll look to play with 2 strikers. That's probably something I don't want to experiment with halfway through the season. But it's good. Yeah, I think Narsoon's done really well recently. I wouldn't be surprised if going forwards for some of their bigger games, they were looking at Narsoon at least until Elatoon it is back, and then they can put Park on the right wing where she is the perfect tactical fit. But yeah, not the perfect first half, but absolutely a decent first half from Manchester United. Like saying, awesome to see Shadow Football and my two favourite women's football accounts supporting each other. Yes, absolutely love the work of Shadow, and it's great to see yourself in the live chat saying these watch-alongs are a lot of fun, and I'll try to tune in whenever I can. Thank you very much. But yeah, I've always said we need to do a collaboration at some point. It's just difficult to know what to do. But we'll do something one day. If not, we can just keep supporting each other. Lawrence saying Ella needed a coach who put her on the bench and made her train, watch how the game moves, and then look to introduce her, not someone who puts her in and makes her lose confidence. The problem is I don't feel that in terms of squad building that Mark Skinner necessarily would have wanted Ellen Vanahheim. I think she's a fantastic player, and I think Skinner will absolutely see that. He would have wanted a right winger who can come in and fulfill the same sort of role of Jess Park, and that's difficult because there are very few players who do that very specific function. But there are profiles more suited to it who you could adjust, and I just don't think Vanahheim's profile is suited to it. You know, I thought Vanahheim would come in and adjust quite quickly to the job as a striker, but as a right winger, it's a very different job. We'll see what happens. I mean, as I said in the build-up, I thought Vanahheim at the back post meeting crosses would be perfect, and actually for the disallowed goal, she did that brilliantly.
Yeah, she did, and that's what she can give you. And it was a good piece of physicality. I don't think it was a foul. I think it was just a piece of soft defending. But you know, it was she jumped high, so it was a good header across goal, and she was unlucky that Turland ended up being in an offside position. But yeah, I think that it's one of those where it doesn't necessarily work in the exact role that Skinner wants, but there's definitely perks you get from having Vanahheim out there on the right-hand side, and that she can support as a bit of a second striker when she gets the opportunity to. So, yeah, I think it's one of those that it hasn't clicked immediately, but over time, maybe it's a role that she can adjust to, and maybe it's a role that can be adjusted to kind of meet in the middle, to be more to her liking and adapt it that way. But I don't think there's any harm in getting minutes under her belt, playing more at the very top level, and being given the chance to shine. I think that she'll try and thrive on that, and if she can get a contribution tonight, that would go a long way to helping her improve and get better.
Yeah, indeed. In terms of the goals, though, Elizabeth Turland not really showing any signs of slowing down. We thought I was very interested to see how that dynamic would work with Leah Schuler coming in. Would that pressure make Turland better? Would she crack under it? She seems to have gone from strength to strength in recent weeks.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant run for Turland. A nice goal against Leicester at the weekend, and this one was a brilliant finish. It's really good from Mallard, picked off the pass, gives it into Turland. But yeah, Turland in the form she's in, you just felt she was going to score it. The first touch is excellent, absolutely excellent. To not only knock it out of her feet, but knock it away from the defender, and then to cut back across the ball and smash it at the near post into the corner. Yeah, it's a top class finish. And as you say, it feels like Turland has been spurred on by the signings of the other elite attackers, and is really enjoying her foot at the moment and showing why she should be the starting number 9, and that she shouldn't be usurped by the new additions. But yeah, she's enjoying a really good run at the moment, Turland, and another great finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Melvie Mallard then as well, adding to her account for the season. We've seen how good her finishing has been this season. Has really improved, I think, that aspect of her game, that composure in front of goal. Really nice finish as well to add that second. So United doing well in front of goal. United doing decently in the final third. Atleti on both goals, I think, should do better defensively. Obviously, can't help Larry going down injured, but I think there's got to be more proactivity from the other defenders to react to that. And then the first goal, I mean, Laurent just doesn't get touch tight to Turland. And how you let Turland turn in the penalty area that easily, it was always going to end in one thing. And Gallardo very much hasn't had any hope with either of the goals so far. Both brilliant finishes. Made it very difficult for them. Shadow saying, yeah, we'll sort something soon. Maybe the Chelsea United game or an England game. Yes, we won't sort collabs out on here, but do drop me a message and we can work something out. But yeah, both good suggestions. Harry Mogg saying, I hope as many United fans buy tickets for the Women's League Cup final as possible. Yeah, that is only a few weeks away now, or only about a month away now, isn't it? Going to be a fantastic game. Manchester United versus Chelsea at Ashton Gate in Bristol. Hopefully it's a really strong attendance. We will be live for it though, so if you can't get there, make sure to join us live for that game on Mother's Day as well, which is
Great
always
planning.
good. But I love that. Every year there is always a big double sale game on Mother's Day. This year, the Women's League Cup final. But yeah, and Harry says, United looking in form. Who do you fancy for the League Cup final? I think it's difficult. United have such a poor record against Chelsea, and that's something they will be keen to eradicate. And yes, Chelsea's recent form, especially against big clubs, hasn't been good. But we're going into that game. We're looking at a Chelsea side who've been there and done it before in those big moments. There's a great chance that they just step up that level, and they've got a really nice run of fixtures between now and that game.
It's exactly that. I think that it's one of those where it's a coin toss for me at the moment, and it's one of those where you could ask me every day up until the League Cup final, and I think it would probably change quite a lot. Right now, I think I would probably say United just to edge it, but as you say, in a few weeks' time, Chelsea win a load on the bounce, look like back to their best again. And you mentioned the experience, the quality in those kind of games, and suddenly I'd say Chelsea. So yeah, it's one of those where I think it's really difficult to call. Cup finals come down to who's better on the day. A form, it does matter a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's down to who gets it right tactically and which players deliver. Which at the end of the day, when it's two top quality sides in a final, it leaves it so even, so open to interpretation that. I think they're very difficult games to predict.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we'll learn much from the game next Sunday between the two teams because that's it's an FA Cup quarter final, but Manchester United
Round
have
16.
It's around 16. Sorry, yeah. Manchester United have obviously a Champions League game next week, which yes they could be comfortable and rotate, but there's still going to be aspects they can't rotate simply because they don't have the players to. So the midfield will probably be the same. The centre half partnership will probably be the same. So I would back Chelsea quite strongly in that game, and it's at Kings Meadow. On neutral territory, though, it's going to all come down to how Skinner gets that set up on the day. If he gets it right, there's every chance they can get something from the game.
Yeah.
But not only has he got to get the setup right, which he never seems to do in those big matches against Chelsea. He often goes too conservative, I feel. He's also got to contest with the fact that Bonpastor is changing everything very quickly at the moment.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Chelsea are going to line up with on Sunday.
No.
I have no idea what Chelsea are going to line up the Sunday afterwards. I've definitely got no idea what they're going to do in the League Cup final at this point in time. So it's very difficult to prepare for that game. You don't know exactly what you're facing because Chelsea in a 3-back and Chelsea in a 4-back defensively is very similar. And United will be using the 4-1-4-1 regardless of how Chelsea line up. But there are aspects, obviously, in individual details which are different across those two systems, and especially attacking Chelsea. Because if they are going to play the 3-back and the sort of 3-5, whatever 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2, 3-4-2, however it looks, you're probably going to want to be a little bit more transitional in that game. But if it is going to be a 4-back, you're probably going to want to, Chelsea are going to be a little bit better defensively. So you're probably going to put someone like Turland on the pitch. I think they'll start Turland anyway. It's a big game. It's a final. You could go Lea Schuler if you're looking to target him behind. So it's difficult to judge. It's going to be interesting to see how they read that game, United, and what they choose to do. But yeah, and people mentioning the pitch as well. Yeah, pitch was terrible at Derby last year. Hopefully Ashton Gate isn't in such a state. But yeah, we'll see what happens in that one. Lorick Lane says, I need an analysis on Atletico's left-back Medina. Looks like a really good ball carrier. I think overplaying a few times. Haven't seen enough of her crossing yet to judge. But I think having a more attacking role for her is definitely a benefit. I don't think there's many other players, though, it seems to be benefiting this system. But yeah, Medina's absolutely one who is benefiting. Either way, Atletico to get us back underway in this game. Waiting for the referee's whistle, knocks it back. We're back underway here in this match. Atletico Madrid with work to do in this second half, bound 2 goals at home to Manchester United in this first leg. Need to find a way back into this game, but they're coming down the left-hand side early in this half. Medina. Nowhere to go. Exchanges with Larry. Let's see, just probing as we begin this second half. Jensen wants to come inside. Shifts it back to Manayo. And now Medina, a hold from Vanahheim there. Medina, though, keeps hold of the possession. And Bartel unable to hold on to that pass. Riviere flicked round the corner from Turland. Turland brought down, but Riviere's away. Has support in the box. Could look to goal herself here. Jade Riviere takes a big stop from Gallardo. Great try from Jade Riviere. Doesn't do too much wrong with the finish, but that's a good stop from Gallardo.
Yeah, really good save from the Atletico Madrid skipper. Meets it well. Riviere, superb drive, and probably goes a bit too close to goal, but drives power through it. Gallardo, though, matches it. Really good save to tip it over the bar and keep Atletico Madrid in this game. Big save. And what a fast start, though, for Manchester United in this second half. Immediately looking to put Atletico Madrid to bed.
Yeah, I mean, that really would have killed the tie, especially so early in the second half. And Anna Sandberg down again here. And you would have to think that they would choose the safe option here of putting her out of the game.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is silly. This is an oversight. If she does need to come off, this is really poor planning from Manchester United. I mean, we're a minute and 45 seconds into the second half. You're telling me if she's had to go down now, that means that niggle was happening at half time, and someone's got to have that conversation.
Well, it's probably the case of, I mean, she went down just before the half. It's probably a case of go back out there, see how it's feeling, and then we can make that change if there is that issue. You'd assume they have George ready.
I think that from a longevity point of view, you're tuning up in this game. You just bring George on anyway.
Yeah, I get your point. I guess the argument would be that if United could play Sandberg in this game and then give George 90 minutes at the weekend, and then they've that rotation's easier to manage. But yeah, Sandberg will be taken off here for Gabby George. And this could be a concern for Anna Sandberg. Some big games coming up for United, as we mentioned a moment ago. The League Cup final a month away. The FA Cup round of 16 stage coming up next Sunday. And Sandberg, if this is anything too serious, has been really important for them this season. It would be a massive loss.
Yeah. He's had some really good performances. Has been ever consistent as Anna Sandberg. George, though, again, still very capable. Hasn't had too many minutes with Sandberg's good form, but still a top fullback.
Yeah, indeed. United now with this corner. And it's Letitia over it. Delivers in towards the area, bounces around the box. Can anyone turn it home? Smashed in by Vanahheim, and a foul there. It's deemed on the goalkeeper, Gallardo.
Oof, not sure about that one. Atletico Madrid failed to deal with it. Bounces around. Vanahheim's effort was blocked. And then the referee gave a foul. And I'm really not sure who this is on. Yeah.
There's no foul.
I don't see anything wrong with anything in there, to be honest. And it wouldn't have fallen back to Vanahheim to have another go.
That's an utterly bizarre one, I have
Yeah.
to say. Not sure what the referee's given there. Don't know if it's the lino, perhaps, that's flagged that one. But I didn't see anything wrong there.
No.
Tullis choice now to Janssen. I thought it was for Gallardo, and then we watched Gallardo, and she just sat down. So, yeah, definitely not a foul on the goalkeeper.
No.
Miyazawa heading it out of play. Let's go with the throw-in on the far side. A battle ensuing on that far side. Sariegi holding up well. Pokes it inside. And Miyazawa trying to battle away. Good fight here from Fernandez, who tried to cut it back, and that's smashed clear by Letitia. Throw in, taken quickly. In towards the area. Great hold up there from Jensen. Shot now from the edge of the box. Not enough power through that, though, from Sariegi.
It's a shot on target, though, for Atletico Madrid. And again, trying to make things work, trying to be positive in this game. And they know, if they can get a goal back here, even if they don't win the game, halving the deficit to 1 goal would massively help their chances next week.
Riviere wide into Ellen Vanahheim. Ziggiotti carrying the ball through the lines. Now releases Turland down the right-hand side. Riviere. Now Hinata Miyazawa. Into Jess Park. Mallard. Wants to take on Fernandez. Ball in towards the back post. Vanahheim can't quite adjust quick enough. Barisa winning the ball before Park can get there. She darted towards the edge of the box. Mallard, tidy touch. Shifts inside well, and Bartel on hand to smash it away.
Yeah, again, a high praise for that midfield three for Atletico Madrid tonight. I think they've battled well. It's a good mix in there between Barisa, Bartel, and Fiamma Benitez, and I think they've battled well tonight in there. They've worked hard and tried to make life difficult for what is an incredible Man United midfield.
I think the difficulty with it is it's a little bit too flat. When you've got United, who've got obviously their midfield pivot, and then you've got Miyazawa pushing up at times, Igiotti pushing up at times, them exchanging. Atleti have just struggled at times to keep up with everyone, but there's a lot of energy in there. They're working hard, which has made up for it at moments. But yeah, it's just felt a little bit too flat at times. Letitia goes over the top. Riviere will chase the ball. Hooked out of play by Manayo.
Yeah, I think it's about also finding that balance now between, of course, I'd love to get a goal back and close in one, but they don't want to risk conceding again because 2-0, you're still in it to an extent. 3-0, that's a long way back.
Headed on in there from Igiotti after the long throw. No one in the box though. Bounce through to Gallardo. Now it's the right-hand side. Fernandez carries it well. Strong challenge from Jess Park. Knocking it out of play. Fernandez with the throw. Inside to Jensen. And now Barisa. Fernandez knocking it in behind. Headed away. And out of play from Gabby George.
Yeah, I have to say that having only watched 53 minutes now of Jose Herrera football, sacking Victor Martin was the right idea. I compare how Atleti have played tonight to the league phase game against United, and there's a massive contrast. And if United were down to 10 players in this game, I think it would be a very different scoreline.
I think if United had more than 10 players in the other game, I think it would have been a very different score.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're better than they were under Victor Martin. I think the problem they've got at the moment is that with the wing backs, they're either too aggressive or too conservative. When they are defensively decent, they are just so lackluster going forwards. And when they offer something coming forwards, they're just so open at the back.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure they've got the players in the final third to bridge that issue. Because obviously, if you're very aggressive, but you've got such good quality players in the final third that the other team is just constantly under pressure, it doesn't really matter if you're a bit open at the back. Park takes aim from range, just wide of the post there. Not a bad effort from Jess Park. Open up the body. Always enjoy watching Jess Park play football. Generates so much power there through that shot. Unable to find the target.
Yeah, I think the pressure there from Fiamma just forced her to rush it a little bit, but still caught it pretty decently.
Yeah. Also just made it difficult to pull off. She loves a bit of disguise on a shot. Jess Park loves to open up the body to go wide and then just pull it towards the near post. Fernandez plays it forward into Sariegi, and that is a great challenge from Igiotti. Wins it cleanly. Now it's George as United recycle the ball. Harry asks where Atleti in the Liga F table. They're currently 5th. 10 points off the Champions League qualification places. So Herrera's got a lot of work to do if they're going to get into the Champions League again next season. This was a decent account of themselves, but I think they were kind of fortunate to be in this stage of the competition.
Yeah, obviously that late leveller against Bayern Munich, really making the difference in the last match week. Without that, could have been a different story.
Yeah, potentially so. Riviere looking it down the line. Vanahheim back inside to Riviere, who twists out of trouble. Miyazawa. George. Here's Mallard. Looks to deliver the ball. Blocked away well. And that will be a corner for Manchester United.
Yeah, again, good work from Mallard United. Having a bit more joy in this second half. They've got Atletico Madrid where they want them, sat a bit deeper. And they pushing for that third goal that would really see them in complete control of this playoff. And even if they score the third soon, and they were looking to push on from there and rest out. Atletico just got to dig deep and try and get through this spell. It's been a good spell for Man United.
Here is Letitia then. On this corner. Good delivery again towards the back post. This better goalkeeping from Gallardo. As she punches it away. Turland thinks she was fouled in there.
It was a bit of a bundle towards the back post.
Riviere wins the header. Pounced on well by Jensen. Nowhere to go. And there's a free kick there. Pull back. And a yellow card attributed to Ellen Vanahheim, I think.
Yeah, I think she's unlucky there. I get she's pulled her back slightly, but I don't think it's stopping a breakaway. Janssen's right in front of her.
I think if Janssen isn't there, maybe it's not given. I think because there is nowhere for Jensen to go.
Maybe, yeah.
The referee's just given the yellow there. So have a look at that claim. I mean, Turland, it's bundled down in there. I'd like to see a closer angle to see if there's any pulling on the shirt, because it did look like...
No, she just threw herself on the floor. I mean, I thought the one on Janssen was more of a foul.
Manchester United look like they are in top gear. Oh, they are not in top gear. I feel like they can go up a few gears if they need to. I feel like this has been the case for United a lot this season, though. And I'm just not sure. You know, is this their max level? I don't think so. But when are they going to show top gear?
Yeah. It's difficult.
Double change as well for Atletico Madrid. Katarina Kuhl brought into midfield then to replace Julia Bartel. And Rosa Ottoman coming into the side as well. I didn't see who she replaced, though. I think it was Manayo. And they may have gone to a flat 4. Laurent. Looking for an option down the line. Finds Jensen, who holds it up well. Under pressure here, though. Managed to shift it into Boarisa. Cleared forwards. It's a bit of a shape change for Atletico. Can that be the way they get back into this game? Riviere heading it to Vanahheim. Riviere in a bit of trouble here as she runs towards her own corner. Vanahheim now. To Letitia, and she'll choose the safe option of launching it forwards. Turland bundling there with Laurent. Those two have engaged in a fun battle tonight. There was that Riviere shot a few moments ago. Came after Laurent just wiped out Elizabeth Turland after the flick on. And there's been a few there, those two just jostling.
Yeah, I like the referee let that run there because they both fouled each other really, and there was definitely nothing in it. But then just lets it play like that. More changes coming.
I'd assume this will be for Manchester United, and it is indeed Lisa Narsoon. Interesting, as you'd probably assume she'd be involved at the weekend, given her recent domestic form. A brace in that game against Liverpool. Didn't look quite as sharp against Leicester, but there wasn't as much space. Again, this weekend against London City, and we all know there's space there. Vanahheim departs now soon into the fray, and that will move Park to the right wing, her preferred role in this United side.
Yeah, I think that yellow card for Vanahheim probably spell the end for her evening. Skinner not risking any suspensions or anything silly happening in the final half an hour here.
Indeed. Picking up on the loose ball now is Tamin. That looked like a foul on Riviere, and it has been given as such.
It hasn't been the best display in front of goal from either side. It's been clinical from United, but only 3 shots on target.
Yeah, no, it's had got loads of shots away. It's been 4 shots for Atleti, 5 shots for United. Atleti have tested the keeper just once. United with 3 shots on target. 2 of them have gone in, and Riviere was unlucky not to score. But Ziggiotti wins it back in midfield. Header 1 by Fernandez. Drops now for Park. Can't quite get there. Medina now. Dispossessed up the pitch by Riviere, who can carry this ball forwards. Could take aim from this kind of range. Rash shot. Flies wide.
Yeah, I think that was the right idea. Take it on. Just didn't catch it in the way that she'd hoped for. Had the space, though, yeah, I think she's got to do better there, Riviere. I know she's a right back, but I think she could have got a much better strike away there.
Ball down the line. George will look to get there and does get there ahead of Sariegi, who's chasing this ball down the touchline to recover it for the throw. Back to Fernandez. Sariegi. It's blocked. Miyazawa hooks it out of play. Ball brought down well by Sariegi. Ball in. Jensen tries to control it. Park can't drive away with it. Medina, Ottomin, was she brought down there? Looks like she was. I thought that was a very late call from the referee. Didn't think there was too much in that from Jade Riviere.
No, took her time to get there. I thought Riviere just came in and took the ball away. Let's have another look. To be fair, that's probably the right decision in the end. Riviere just come through the back of the player to get the ball. And an opportunity then now for Atletico Madrid to test Talis Joyce for the 2nd time this evening. Got to have a go from goal here. It's a good position. Wolfsburg had one in this position earlier and tried to cross it. Rubbish decision. Has to hit the top. Has to have a go on goal from here.
Indeed. Especially when you haven't troubled the keeper much. I mean, ultimately, Wolfsburg didn't take that opportunity and went on to get 2 more. Could Atletico do that? Could they get a penalty and then score a screamer?
Maybe.
After a corner.
Yes, it's quite near. The wall seems quite far away as well. There's space here to get this up and over.
Yeah, got to be testing the keeper.
It's not the tallest wall.
Trying to put it on target if they can. Burrisa over this, as is Ottomin. I think it would be Burrisa that will take, whether it's a lifted ball into the box or she just tries to go here across goal. Will take aim. It's a great curler. What a save from Valentolis Joyce. Brilliant effort from Burrisa. Couldn't have done any better with the shot. And Tullis Joyce gets up to it brilliantly, tips it onto the bar. Great save from Tullis Joyce.
Oh, superb stop from Tullis Joyce. Fingertip stuff onto the underside of the bar. What a hit from Burrisa. Caught it so nicely.
Yeah, can't ask anything more of her there. 1 second short, Miyazawa poking it out of play. Great save from Tullis Joyce.
Ridiculous.
Proving her worth time and time again to this United team.
Like Burrisa, yeah, it wasn't postage stamp in the corner stuff, but it was well hit.
That was close enough, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's a great save.
Ball in towards the front post, and Letitia will get there and then knocks it up the line. And Park will give chase here. Blocked off well by Ottoman.
2 rubbish corners. The first one was played short in defeat and they lost it for another corner. And then the second one was played at the front post and they gave it back to Letitia.
I didn't mind what they tried with the first one. The player tried to dummy the bus back and then sprint round. It's just me as I read that.
Yeah.
But I was in the right place at least with the ball to just hit her and it went out of play. Second corner, yeah. Delivering into the front post without any full presence there.
Yeah.
Now soon, Zigliotti. Great hold up from Turland. Knocks it back to Mallard. 4-on-4 here for United. If Mallard can find her teammates, will take aim. Blocked by Laurent. Pause on the edge. It's just about dealt with. Katarina Kuhl into Ottoman, who will hit it down the line here. And Jensen, I think, gave up on that too early there and then commits the foul on Maya Letitia. Somehow the referee doesn't think it's a foul. Thrown for United. And Letitia there. You don't need to be a master lip reader to understand what she's saying.
It's absolutely a foul. But looking back at that save from Turland, it's an absolute game changer. And credit to Zigliotti as well for getting in on the rebound first before Atletico Madrid player could bring it home. Because if the free kick or the rebound goes in, this is a different game, a different tie.
Letitia did get a free kick, by the way. Her protests were not in vain, and it's launched forwards from this free kick. Turland can't win the initial header. Battles away for the second ball, though, and Atleti here under pressure. Nice stuff from Kuhler to play out, and Jensen there getting a bit of a taste of her own medicine, but a little more disguise on it there from Maya Letitia. Getting away with it. Jensen lifting to the left-hand side. Mallard can't win the header. It's recovered, though, by Gabby George, and not out of play.
Good spell, this, for Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Just, last 5 minutes as they've been in control. Last 5 minutes, they've kind of been in control.
Turland flicks around the corner. Laurent will get it. Collects it. Across now to Medina. Back to our goalkeeper. Gallardo looking for options. Scans the field and finds Jensen, who can hit it over the shoulder of Jade Riviere, but with no one running onto it. Fairly redundant how good a ball it is.
I think I said it's been a good spell for Atletico Madrid, but they need a goal. They really need a goal from this game, at least. That free kick was probably their best chance. But they need to start threatening more. They can't go to the Lee Sports Village with a 2-goal deficit to make up.
Riviere comes in flying there. And that's over the line. Ottoman here claiming that should probably be a yellow card. The referee nods. And Riviere doesn't fancy the chat.
That was almost like the referee consulted Ottoman for giving it.
Do you want a yellow card? Yeah, I do actually. All right. And Jade Riviere committing the foul. Free kick for Atletico. Agnator asking, no Schuler. Not yet. I think we could see her introduced. Ball swung in by Boa Risa, headed away. Kept alive now on the edge by Katarina Kuhl, and that well wide.
Yeah, right idea, but not the play on that situation. Just shift it onto her left foot, on her weaker foot, and couldn't quite get the strike goalwards. Another great delivery from Boa Risa. And Katarina, right idea, but she could have done with it. If that was her shift to get from her left foot onto her right, different story. Could definitely Charles Tur's choice. Who has slipped over taking the goal kick here, but still absolutely nailed it. Also, Letitia's made a meal of that.
And chance now for Jensen to get a goal back in this tie. Inexplicably tries to square it. Chance now deflected wide.
Oh my God.
And that a gift for Atletico Madrid. But they couldn't quite finish the job. Jensen in on goal. Why does she try to square it in that position?
I don't believe it. Letitia made a meal of it. Jensen dove in and got it wrong. Jensen's through on goal and she tried to square it. 6 yards out. Just have a go for yourself. What a chance for Atletico.
Big mistake from Letitia. Made up for it with 2 important blocks, but clumsy. Speaking of clumsy, no idea what's happened there between Turland and Laurent again. Those two, seeing who can foul each other the most.
José Herrera will be so frustrated with his side because they have had chances in the second half to cut the deficit. It could easily be 2-1, even 2-2 at this point in the game. it has not been convincing for Man United in this second half. That's the biggest let-off of the lot, though. I still can't believe she didn't shoot. Even if you shoot, it doesn't go in. That's fair enough. Don't know why she tried to square it. Incredible. Pressure and knockout football makes you do strange things sometimes.
Kevin says, United have a WSL game on Sunday. Which players would you rest from tonight? So who shouldn't play Sunday?
I mean, they've got London City, so it's a nice game.
I would start Schuler. Great chance of a goal. Looks like a fairly late challenge in midfield there. And not too many complaints from Sariegi as she picks up a yellow card.
Just stared at each other there. That's a bit weird.
Stared at the referee.
Yeah.
Don't give me a yellow.
Ref didn't say anything to her. But yeah, easy yellow card, very late on Ziggiotti. Just gets there second and catches the United midfielder. But yeah, I expect Schuler to start. I don't know which one out of the wingers didn't start. I'm trying to think.
Well, the problem is Rolfo's injured.
Oh, yeah.
Bize's pregnant. And
Galton's injured.
Galton, I wouldn't play her anyway. But Galton, I think, is injured, yeah.
And they were hoping they had a tune.
In their bench now, has 4 outfielders on it. Bounced through, and they tried to just turn that home there, United, but couldn't make any contact with it. Gallardo claims it well.
Ball's on.
Ball over the top. Letitia sails it back well. Knocks it into Tullis Joyce, who plays it right to the middle of the park. Shot now from range. Not a bad effort, that, from Jensen. Caught it decently, but over the bar.
She's happy to shoot on the volley from 20 yards out, but won't shoot when she's 5 yards out from goal in the penalty area. Caught it really nicely. Tullis Joyce miss-kicking the clearance, but did just manage to see that onto the roof of the net.
Indeed. Change coming for Atletico. Sariegi making way to be replaced. Well, hang on. Not before the lino said it's okay. Got to make specific subs first. Jensen makes way. I've seen the lino hold a player back from entering the field of play before. Gallardo on for Jensen then in the forward line. And Sariegi replaced by Gio.
They sensed an opportunity at Atletico Madrid. 17 minutes to go, and they have had chances to get back into this game. They haven't taken them, but they will feel that in the next 17 minutes, they can at least get 1 goal back in this tie and make next week's job a little easier.
Yeah. A 6 outfield was on the bench for the way for United. I'd forgotten they'd already made 2 subs.
Oh, yes.
I would expect both subs who came on tonight to start on Sunday. Probably Hannah Lundqvist, rest Riviera again, all rest on the centre-halves.
No.
Turner's there. Don't think she's ready to start a game yet, but could get on some minutes. That would be important if they can.
Yeah.
And they've got Awujo as well who could start. Depends how much rotate they want to go. If they can get another goal here tonight, I'd save some of those and rotate. I'd rotate players like Awujo in for the UwCl second leg. And then you can go full strength against... I mean, they want to go full strength against Chelsea in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So, see what happens. Ball one high there by Turland Park, but a foul from Melvin Mallard.
Yeah, have to give credit to Atletico Madrid for the second half performance. Yes, and put the ball in the back of the net, but I think it's fair to say they've been the better side.
Riviere into Narsoon. Park now. Trying to come inside with the ball. Being held. Back now into Letitia. Clipping it in behind. Headed down. Miyazawa pounces. Touch forwards well. Jensen. Or Gio, sorry. It's just come on. Park tries to drag her back. Still going, Gio. Tries to square it. Falls now for Overton, and that's wide.
Another big block in there. This time from Ziggiotti, but Atletico Madrid are still knocking on the door. Great drive from Gio, who used the advantage well. Deflection off Letitia fell. And again, it was another good block from Letitia to send the shot out for another corner for Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, Otamin just couldn't quite generate the power, but does get a corner from that effort. Ball in on top of the goalkeeper. Touch choice. A great claim, almost. Fell over her own goal line there.
Yeah, it does well. If you're going to put it on top of the goalkeeper, you've got to get someone running in there on her. Not fouling her, obviously, but you've got a challenge.
Quarter of an hour left in this one, then.
I can't believe
Atleti must have up.
I can't believe they haven't scored. I really can't. They've had some brilliant chances in this second half. And United have kind of just coasted through.
Park trying to draw the foul. Good challenge though from Katarina Kuhl. Pass wide to the right-hand side. And one back in there well by Gabby George. Janssen plays it forward. Cut out in midfield. George gets it again though. Tries to clear it away. Takes a block off Gallardo.
Yeah, United just doing enough at the moment. They had to ride their luck a bit in the second 45 minutes, but they are battling well. I mean, they had the Riviere chance, but apart from that, we haven't really seen too much.
No, been loads in the second half. To be fair to United, though, with that 2-0 lead, haven't really needed to push too aggressively.
More way, and in fact, not conceding.
Absolutely. Out there on Mallard. Free kick now. And Janssen will launch this forwards. Going over the top. They'll let that bounce through to Gallardo, and it's straight back into possession of Atletico Madrid. Katarina Kuhl round the corner. Medina knocks it down the line, takes a nick off Riviere. They're just stretching United quite well at the moment, Atletico. They've gone 2 up front, and they've got it's got like a 4-4-2 now. So before, where there seemed to be gaps everywhere, they're now sort of almost player for player, and they're doing quite a good job of just making life quite difficult for United. Stretching that back line. Ball in now. Hooked away. Fernandez's delivery. Not quite good enough. Mallard beats one. And that's one back really well by Burrisa. Can't keep it on though.
Yeah, again, don't mind that from Mallard. Trying to drive the ball, get United further up the pitch and relieve a bit of pressure on Skinner's side. Who I think Mark Skinner would have hoped to have a bit more comfortable in this second half.
Yeah.
That Riviere chance goes in early doors. It's 3-0 and they're in complete control.
Ball down the right-hand side. Fernandez loops it in. Riviere heading away. Now Park tries there just to lift it over the fullback Medina. Medina back inside. On the edge now. Fiala. Swung in by Ottoman. And over the bar.
Yeah, not quite a delivery they were searching for. I thought the original decision to cross it in was the wrong one. Should have been a cut back towards the edge of the area. Build them in, then swinging that one in and getting it horribly wrong. But they're still pushing Atletico Madrid, still plugging away. Tash Joyce taking her time over this goal kick, understandably so. And I love the fact the rain's really started to come down here, and everybody who's in that bottom stand has moved to the back of the stand, and everyone's going to sat on top of each other.
Ziggiotti trying to poke it forwards. On back by Narsoon. Plays it across for Park. Now into Mallard. Can she capitalise here? And she tries to fire across goal. It's blocked. Ziggiotti. Narsoon. Looking to add a third. Mallard clips it in. Turland can't adjust as it's missed. Quite spectacularly by Medina. Just misjudging the flight of the ball. Narsoon. Mallard. Ziggiotti fires home, and that seals a very important third goal and gives United an even bigger cushion in this Champions League tie. They came forward looking to capitalise on Atletico Madrid, who were throwing numbers forward. Really smart play. Mallard clipped the ball in initially. Turland couldn't quite meet it. It was reworked to Mallard, who just delayed and allowed Ziggiotti to make the overlapping run. Played it into the path of Giulia Ziggiotti-Olmo, who lashed it home past the goalkeeper. Atletico Madrid 0, Manchester United 3.
Great finish from Ziggiotti-Olmo to seal the deal for Manchester United. Reworked move. Atletico didn't react, but they'll walk off this pitch today and wonder how they've lost this game 3-0. So many chances for them in the second 45 minutes to get at least one on the score sheet. They haven't taken any of them. And United, after what has been a quiet 45 minutes, go and nick a third towards the end.
The gap's opened. Atleti went for it. They threw players forward. The gap's opened up, and Manchester United have absolutely exposed that. Smart attacking play. A well-measured game. United have won a match 3-0 where they've not really had to be too aggressive. And I think that's a testament to how controlled and how well balanced this showing has been. And now Jess Park will depart to Wujo on in her place.
Yeah. Decent from Park. Not her best, but still had a tidy game. But yeah, United, exactly what you've got to do sometimes. Just see the job through, ride your luck a little bit. Talis Joyce with some good saves has kept the Atletico at bay. Laetitia again, incredible performance from her. But yeah, on the whole, they've done their job, United.
Yeah, I think this is what we expect from United. A comfortable tie, really. Should get through this game. Should get through this tie now, barring a complete collapse in the home leg. And a match up with, I don't remember who it was. Bayern Munich, of course, in the quarterfinals. Awaits. I don't think that's as much of a lost cause as you would think. I think as good as Bayern are, I don't think they're tactically brilliant.
No.
I think they've got Clara Buell, and that is important, but and Pernilla Harder. And a lot of very talented footballers, to be fair, but I don't think they're brilliant. I don't rate Jose Barcola. So I don't think that's a tie that's completely out of reach for Manchester United. And who doesn't want to see Mark Skinner versus Barcelona in the semi-finals of the Champions League?
That sounds like a dream I've had at some point.
Every night. Barisa. Atleti's still probing. A goal back at this stage would mean little on the night, but would give them hope going into the second leg next Thursday. Make sure to join us for that. We're live for all the Champions League action again next week. And while this tie and the Arsenal game do look like they may be foregone conclusions, the other two ties still very much hang in the balance. Wolfsburg, Juventus still tied at 2-2. And Paris FC took the lead against Real Madrid. Real then made it 3-1. But a goal back for Paris FC does give them some hope for next week. So join us for all of those ties. Now let's go with this corner now. As time is ebbing away. Ball delivered on top of the goalkeeper. Talis Joyce, no problems claiming that one and can go to ground.
Yeah, no, poor corner. This point in the game, that's catching practice for Talis Joyce and gives her a chance just to take the pace out of the game.
Not soon. Holding on to it well. Can't quite keep it under our grasp. That's how to play for a throw. Joe will come and take. Goes inside. Nice turn there from Benitez. One back there by Ziggiotti. Too aggressive, it was deemed by Hinata Miyazawa. Gio. Barisa. Lovely pinpoint switch to the play. Fernandez plucking it down brilliantly. Ball through though, intercepted by Laetitia. Fernandez again. And that cleared away by Letitia again. George heads on Miyazawa. Joining the game of headers. One back in midfield, though. Strike here from an unorthodox angle. Bounces wide of Telechoice's net. Somehow, referee's determined that'll be a corner. Gio, did it take a nick off a United defender in there?
Yeah, I
look like it.
No. I initially, to be fair, I did initially think Talis Joyce had saved it, but she didn't. That really,
I thought Talis Joyce's reaction was quite explanatory on that one.
Yeah.
Looked bemused as to how that was a corner. And the referee in the 86th minute wants to have a chat with Laurent and Mallard, and Laurent thought it was just with Mallard and pushed Mallard towards the referee. Neither of them really listened, and the chat's over.
Neither of them listened to a word the referee said there. Yeah. Atletico, no. A goal could still be big. I don't know how they haven't scored in this game. I really don't.
Corner taken short. Gio lays it back off. Barisa lifts it in there. It bounces through. Just wide, and George does enough to knock it out of play.
Another great chance. It's a well-worked corner routine. No one gets out to Barisa. The ball in's brilliant. And yeah, Talis Joyce makes a bit of a mess of it.
Bounces around in the United box. This one dealt with more easily. Awujo carrying it forwards. Lays in Miyazawa. Can give it back to Awujo now. Not quite enough on that pass. Awujo just carrying it towards goal. Medina pokes it out of play. United throwing. And look back at that moment. No one from Atletic's shirt could get a touch on it. Talis Joyce does enough to poke it wide, to just push it wide. And George poked it out of play. Zigiotti throws it in. Headed away. Zigiotti again. Flick it in behind. Medina clipping it back the other direction. Riviere pounces. Nalsoon. Riviere into the box. Laurent heads away. Now out towards the right-hand side. And Fernandez carrying the ball forwards. Zigiotti can't bring her down. Can't stand in her way. And Letitia nudged over there as she wins back possession. That's a free kick deep in the field for Manchester United.
Yeah, United just seeing the job through now. Atletico still pushing, and fair play to them. All one chance, 3-1, it gives them something to work with. I think there's positives that Herrera and his side can take from this game. I really do. I think they've shown some massive improvements to what we saw towards the end of Victor Martin's reign. But I don't. Of course, United don't want to be 3-0 ahead, but I think that Atletico deserved a bit more, especially from this second half.
Mallard. She's the keeper off her line, tries her luck. And when you're on a goal and 2 assists, you're going to try your luck, aren't you? Ball bounces through. Janssen clips it out of play. Throwing on that far side now for Atletico. Benitez. Give and go. Ball into the box. Headed towards goal. Wide though from Gio.
Yeah, not a bad header. Good ball in. Difficult one to try and direct goalwards, but yeah, just wide of the mark. Out jumps George, but can't put it on target.
Indeed. Harry asks, which women's league would you like to see added to FC 27? I don't know which ones are in it, to be fair, but any more leagues is always a bonus. You don't tend to get more in FIFA, do you? 4 minutes of additional time in this at the end of this game. In Football Manager, though, it would be great to see the Women's National League. But they don't tend to have too many non-professional leagues.
I'm not playing FIFA until it's called FIFA again.
No, also until it's not completely rubbish. By all accounts, it's not been great this year. But I'd rather play the old FIFAs. Just a shame that women sort of isn't in the older FIFAs. Ball played forward, headed away well by Janssen. Tikiotti, Awujo, not soon. Loses out. Medina to Gio. Out towards the right-hand side. Unable there to find an option down the line, and Mallard wins it back. As my team, Bournemouth, are doing so well in the Women's National League. Haven't lost a game in 3 years. I think that's going to be quite prevalent in the lower leagues women's football for a few years now. Great hold-up chance now, saved by Tullis Joyce.
It's just not going to happen, is it? For Atletico Madrid tonight. Another direct ball. Good hold-up play.
Great stop from Tullis Joyce.
Yes, Fiamma on the turn. Doesn't quite catch it well enough to trouble Tullis Joyce too much.
Ball inside from Ottoman. Able to find a teammate. Showing us as F26 got women's leagues this year. Yes. I've been absolutely flying with Brighton. Closing in our WSL title for the first time. Only 3 years into the save. Not too bad.
Well done.
Thank you. Brighton wants some tips. Get in touch. Pull down the line. Bounces around. Mallard. Tries to play it inside. And a foul in there. And that'll be a Manchester United free kick. I should have seen this tie out now, really. The second leg next week. United in a fantastic position. Performance tonight not been the best that we've ever seen from United, but certainly got the job done.
Yeah, they've got through it. And as you say, they're in complete control of the tie. It feels like this could have been a very, very different game if Atletico Madrid had taken their chances in the second half. Because they've had their chances to make it 2-2, 3-1, 3-2. You know, it's a completely different tie. But at 3-0, United, it would take a massive slip up next week now for them to be knocked out. And I think Atletico Madrid will be frustrated because, as I said, they've had the opportunities tonight. They've tested Tullis Joyce. They've had some clear-cut chances that they didn't take, and you get punished for that against the best sides in the world.
Ball down the line. A pass inside, well held up there by Katarina Kuhl. Laurent trying to go over the top. And Janssen goes back to her goalkeeper. Janssen launches up the line. Tikiotti bringing it down well, and that should be that. Final whistle goes in this game. It's Atletico Madrid 0, Manchester United 3. An important 3 goals, a big victory for United, and that will likely see them through to the quarter-finals. They just need to not lose by 3-0 next week. And a really important display away from home there from United.
Yeah, getting the job done. Good stuff from Manchester United. Exactly what they needed to do. More convincing than the league phase game a few months ago. And they are in complete control of this tie. Can rest up and take it easy going into the second leg. Atletico Madrid, they were disappointed. They'll turn up next week and try and give it everything. But United too strong on the night. And Atletico Madrid punished for not taking their chances.
Indeed. Shout out to us, who is your marquee signing for Brighton? As I know Live to Bedson before Live to Bedson went to Brighton, so I was very happy to predict that one. I had Diana Rodriguez, the Colombian defensive midfielder. She was really good, got her on a free. Anna Patton played really... Oh, not Anna Patton, sorry, Lucy Parker. Always get those two mixed up. Katie Reid was phenomenal for me. Had lots of very fun players. But yeah, Shadow Football says, I'm happy boy. Good win. Going to go for a run now. Cheers for another good stream. Thank you for tuning in, Shadow Football. And yeah, it's good to see so many people in the live chat tonight. Great to see so much interaction. We've got more United games coming up. Obviously, we'll be live for the Champions League game next weekend. And then the FA Cup round of 16 tie. Chelsea versus Manchester United coming up the weekend after. Make sure to join us as well all across this weekend for more WSL action tomorrow night. We're back with Friday night football as Leicester City take on Manchester City in what is sure to be a very close game. Nothing, therefore, on the Saturday, but on the Sunday we're back with a double header as we have a double dose of WSL action. The morning, I think it's Chelsea versus Liverpool, though I don't think they've announced which game's on YouTube yet, so we'll wait and see. And then on Sunday, it's Arsenal versus Brighton, so we'll look out for those. Thanks everyone saying that it was a great stream. Thank you all very much for tuning in. We will be back, as I say, tomorrow. But thank you guys very much for watching, and we will see you next time.